A very good morning to each one of you. On behalf of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, we welcome you all for this webinar on a data-driven decision making in retail sector. The session is organized under the aegis of Industry 4.0 of the Chamber. The committee is chaired by Mr. A. Chandramouli, past president BCIC, co-chaired by Mr. Jagannathan, COO of M2 Next, BFW subsidiary, and Mr. Raju, Senior Vice President and Plant Head, ABB India Limited. Thank you very much, Mr. Swaminathan, for accepting our invitation to address our members over this subject, sir. BCIC,
my pleasure, and thanks for the opportunity.
BCIC acknowledges your support, sir. And thanks to your team also who is participating in this session. I also welcome Dr. Devarajan, who is the president of the chamber and who is the senior vice president of TVS Motor Company.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Yes.
Morning, Dr. Devarajan.
Morning.
I would like to take this opportunity to briefly introduce Mr. Swaminathan. Mr.
Yes.
Swaminathan has more than 40 years of industry experience working in India, Malaysia, and Singapore in the IT industry, including pre-sales, consulting, and project management, software development, managing offshore projects, and you name it, and he's there in that, sir. It's really very glad to know of your vast experience, sir. As a senior member in Singapore Computer Society, he is one of the founding members of Business Analytics chapter in SES. Currently, as an adjunct faculty in few of the IHLs and also in one of the global management schools in Singapore, he has been teaching courses on business analytics, business intelligence, data analytics, mining, visualization, machine learning, and allied subjects. Sir, the set agenda would be Mr. Chandramouli will be setting the context. We will be hearing also for a few minutes from Dr. Devarajan, and then you can take over making the presentation, sir. Now, I would request Dr. Devarajan to address the members, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. And first of all, thank you, Swaminathan, for accepting our invitation. And thanks, Chandramouli. Definitely been a very active, one of the most active Industry 4.0 team we have with us. Swaminathan said this Bangalore Chamber of Commerce is a leading organization in terms of the number of members. We have both Volvo, Toyota, TVS of the team, and both MSMEs, medium and small scale industries, startup, education institutions. We have members around 850 in our, more than 850 around, and we have 28 expert committees. So this expert committee is under Industry 4.0. I strongly feel it's interlinked to many other subcommittees also, because every industry today are going towards digital to be successful, and the data is not how to capture the data and analyze the data is the most important thing for benefit. A lot of people say data is oxygen. Data is the oil for the company. But what's happening today, according to me, data is becoming oxygen for the company, because data is a must. And how to analyze the data, how to use it for our analytics, take decision making is becoming the most key thing. I'm from the TVS Motor, so we are in the automobile sector. We always say quality, cost, delivery is important. That the things that change today to quality, cost, timely decision. Timely decision will make or break a business today. To make a timely decision, how we are able to capture the data, how to analyze the data, how to take quick decisions based on the analytics of the data is becoming very, very key. For the members joining today, this will be the most interesting discussion, because even retail, what changes are happening. The fashion industry, something that is happening. There are many areas in which the outcome of manufacturing going towards the sales and going towards the retail, how we are able to use that data in that area. I think Swaminathan will be the best person to share with us in our area. Another thing, sir, in many of the things is it's going to become very, very important to be affordable, frugal, low cost, essential, because people say, okay, Toyota can do, Toyota, Volvo can do, or TVS can do. What can happen to the medium and small scale industries? So from BCIC, we are trying to work to make it happen, train those people, share many of the experiences across. And it's a journey by itself. And we have started this journey, and Industry 4.0 is a common base. No more attractive quality now is a must-be quality, that we have to have this data. We have to analyze the data to be successful and survive in the current competitive market. India is growing, as you know, and definitely all of us know that yesterday we have touched $4 trillion in terms of the economy. That growth is for all of us. And to be successful in the growth, how we can be on timely, how we can analyze this sensing data in every area, and how to make our business profitable. That's the main thing. I think we're all working. And I should thank Chandramouli for organizing this. I told you this is the most powerful interactive subcommittee we have, because this cut across all the areas, whether finance or whether manufacturing or retail or anything, digital is a must. So thank you very much, sir. And Swaminathan sir, thank you very much for your time. And we ensure that I know it's a Monday morning, which always a time for the people to join in a little bit late. But we are recording this, and we're going to share this with all the, with your permission, sir, we are recording this, and we're going to share with all the members of 850 in our team. And we will definitely like you to be a part of our expert team, which supports the management committee. We are also working with MSMEs, Japanese. We have an office in Japan and Tokyo, and SMRJ is we have MOU with SMRJ. It's a small and medium scale industries in Japan. We are trying to see how we can share quality aspects, the digital aspect, many areas of startup with them. So we like to take your support and expert advice in many of the areas of the management committee, sir. Thank you very much. And one of these days, I think you should come to our office, and one of our management committee meetings should address all our 28 expert committees. Because why I'm telling this is digital cuts across all the areas.
Absolutely.
I think that will be the fantastic time. And thank you very much, Chandramouli, for organizing this. And Swaminathan, once again, from Bangalore Chamber of Commerce, on my own behalf, we are very keen to listen to you and learn from you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Over to Chandramouli, sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Devarajan.
Sure.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, Dr. Devarajan. Now, before Devarajan, perhaps he may be very busy in his office Monday, I just want to make two comments. That Swaminathan hails from MTech Bangalore IISc only, Indian Institute of Science.
Super.
And computer science from
Mauli,
NIT Trichy.
Mauli, allow me to small correction.
Sorry.
I did my postgraduate in Indian Institute of Science and MTech from NUS, National University Singapore.
Oh, sorry. You had a
No problem. But happy to share
graduation.
my first job is Lucas TVS Chennai.
Wow, very good, sir. You are a part of TVS.
Very happy to get associated. That's brings back my nostalgic memories. I was there for a long stint, more than 11 years in Lucas TVS.
Lucas has been, Chandramouli has been an expert in terms of lean, in terms of Six Sigma. You name anything today. They were the leaders, and we had all learned from Lucas. I think thanks to
absolutely.
And they had a good team like Murugan, Ravichandran, and all, a huge team they had.
Yes, and, Murugan, Anandakumaran Nair, and all those. Yep.
You're very close.
Please go ahead, Mauli. Sorry to interrupt. Yep.
No. I never knew that Swaminathan has double post-graduation. Fantastic. Congratulations. Indian Institute of Science and also in Singapore. He lives in Singapore now for the last 30 years. And after Lucas TVS, his assignments have been abroad. Very happy to have him here. It's almost like international program today. Other comment is, now that we have a BCIC desk in Japan, with the help of Swaminathan, we can even create a BCIC desk in Singapore.
Yeah. Sure.
A desk is nothing but having some champions.
When you come to Bangalore next year, please let us know. You can come to TVS Motor, you can come to BCIC. Anytime.
Definitely. Love to do
Great.
that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, let me humbly admit that I am not a data scientist, right? Unlike Swaminathan.
No,
But
I'm
where
not.
I come from my advantage, not being data scientist is a disadvantage. But the advantage I have is we have some idea of where the data is useful. In other words, the business analytics or the analytics to improve operational excellence is all about improving our day-to-day business parameters, as we call the KPIs. And there are many parameters under quality. There are many parameters under delivery. There are many parameters under cost. And now when you talk about the retail sector, this quality, delivery and cost again sounds the same bell. Whether it is manufacturing sector or retail sector, they are these three what they call as the troika. The troika or universally applicable and eternally applicable. They'll be applicable for next 100 years also. They'll be applicable for across the globe and maybe tomorrow in Mars and Moon also. So the troika is now become a quadrilateral because a fourth parameter dimension has been added, which is called the variety and the flexibility. What can be a better example than a retail market where the variety and flexibility, variety from the consumer point of view and flexibility from the business point of view in terms of the organization is extremely important in terms of the retail sector, much more than manufacturing sector. We are aware that in manufacturing sector, the factories have, let's say, 200 types of parts, 400 types of sub-assemblies, etc., or maybe 5 types of final vehicles. But retail sector, we are talking about, millions of varieties in pharma, millions of varieties in food processing industry, millions of varieties in soaps and detergents, personal products, as we call it, and so on and so forth. So in the FMCG retail sector is primarily driven by the FMCG sector. We have Mr. Swaminathan today. Without much ado, I think he will talk about the various overview aspects of data analytics, how the science of analytics is now coming into play. Compared to 10 years back, 20 years back, we now have real-time data. I remember when I was working in Hindustan Liver Ponds, I attended long back a seminar 10, 20 years back, where data from the retail market is being used by the manufacturing factories. At that time, the internet enabling was not there. The Google search engines were not there, right? At that time, they were only using data more as a passive through the little bit faster ERP systems. Let me put it that way. So more passive than what we have today. And so when we talk in terms of the real-time data with the internet-enabled systems, the business analytics obviously have taken a different center stage. And the 4 types of analytics, I'm sure Swaminathan will touch upon, are talking about what is going on in the retail market, the descriptive analytics, and why some brands are selling more than the other brands, the diagnostic analytics, and how do we predict the future sales in the next 3 months or 3 years or whatever, right? I don't know the time horizon in retail sector. I'm not from that sector. In manufacturing sector, we can predict maximum 3 months. And finally, what are the actions we can take, prescriptive actions? All this can be covered by the data analytics domain and the many KPIs and parameters. So with that remark, let me hand over the thing to Mr. Swaminathan. He has so much to share. He says he can even organize a series of such lectures because in his module, 4 or 5 modules that you're going to show, every module can be drilled down into several seminars. I request him to keep 15-20 minutes at the end. Now it's 11:20. By 12:40 maximum, let us have a 20-minute Q&A. Already we have 21 people now. I'm sure by another 5 minutes, there'll be 30 people minimum, which is our normal thumb rule of 1/3 of the registered participation. Thank you, Rupa.
Sir,
Thank you, Devarajan, sir.
Once again, many of the seminars, Chandramouli sir, is viewed in the in a room which has got 20 people in that. So it's viewed even the colleges. In last time when I went to RB College, they said digital IoT seminars are viewed in the seminar hall with 60 people in that or 40 people in that.
Okay.
So we get that type of thing. So though the numbers may be 30, but 13 plus some of the people participating. And
That's a
second
very
thing
good
is
point.
everybody are trying to view the video program again in the thing. So I think I got a lot of feedback from the users, sir. So it is quite useful, and our chambers are doing a lot of work in many of the colleges, MS Ramaiah colleges, the RB College, and hospitality management. Many areas we're trying to work on so that it becomes sharing of knowledge with everyone.
Sure.
The trend happening, sir. Thank
Which
you,
is
sir.
why we do the YouTube recording, and the YouTube will be sing, and we can share that link to Mr. Swaminathan also.
Thank you, sir.
Over to, good point. Devarajan, you are right. Now let us go to, I'm sure a couple of colleges called me and they are participating here, where the entire room may be listening through one particular computer.
Yeah, presenting. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Swaminathan. Thank you, sir. All the best.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, a big thanks to the Bangalore Chamber of Industry Commerce, and a great introduction by Dr. Devarajan and my classmate, close friend, Chandramouli, who organized this opportunity. I'm strongly believing in continuous learning by sharing, by teaching, and by conducting workshop. I personally learn a lot. So this is part of my learning as well. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. Give me a second. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen?
Your screen is on the coming up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All set.
DDDM.
Excellent. Yep. So good morning to everyone. So I'm going to talk about data-driven decision making specific to retail industry, because some of the use cases which I'm going to share is related to retail. Such a big topic. I'm trying to squeeze as much as possible, at the same time not going deeper into some of the topics. So just create an awareness, as beginning Mauli talked about. And the topics to be covered today will be just putting the stage, putting the context. What is data-driven decision making? And then what is the landscape today? I mean, everyone knows, like Dr. Devarajan mentioned, data is the new oil, not new oil, it's a new oxygen, which is absolutely right. So what is the landscape? Are we all doing it across the industry? Are we ready to do or already doing it? What kind of a maturity level we are in? Then what are the steps? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm convinced that data-driven decision making is the way to go, but where do I start? The steps, simple step. And one of the key player in decision making, data-driven decision making, data analytics, as Mauli correctly covered. In fact, he has covered some of my topics as well. The 4 types of analytics, and then some use cases. And I thought giving a demo will take the whole thing and putting in the context and take the whole thing in a right way. So I'm going to use one of the popular data analytics visualization tools to show you some of these charts and visuals to create, which is going to play a key role in making the decisions. Then followed by actionable insights. So one of the key aspects of data-driven decisions is actionable insights. So we have a great tool, we have a great technology to collect a lot of data, all fine. I got a very nice graphs, charts, even dashboards, but what do I do with them? When I walk away from the presentation, I should be going with actionable insights. So that I'll just throw some lights on that. Then the importance of data, which is again an oxygen at the moment, or oil, and then the criticality of the data literacy across the organization as one of the founding steps or a foundation of data-driven decision making. And finally, close with a call to action and open up for Q&A. So any point in time, you may want to stop me, and if it's not clear, you can ask questions as well. Yeah. So what do we, before we go into drive into data-driven decision making, where are we at the moment? So why should we focus on that? What is that so important that data-driven decision making is being talked about, being discussed about across the industries? So the PwC survey with 1,000 executives said that data-driven organizations are 3 times more likely to report significant improvements in decision making compared to those who rely on less of data. I mean, I know people say, oh, I've been running this business for 20 years. I know my gut feeling says this is the way to go. It's not wrong. But no more, the gut feeling alone is not sufficient anymore, because we have to have data-driven decision making. In fact, people are now twisting this, saying instead of saying data-driven decision making, they say decision-driven data. Even collecting the data, I'm going to collect specifically in order to answer my question, in order to address my issues, in order to measure my KPIs, right? And again, they say the retailers, particularly who are data-driven, they see about 3 to 5% increase in contribution margin. Yeah, there's a second key point. Then apart from that, McKinsey says that data-driven organizations are 23 times more likely to acquire customers, 6 times more likely to retain customers. We all understand retaining customers is much more effective in terms of cost and time than acquiring new customers. It's going to take time, efforts, money as well. So in order to retain customers, I need to have ability to check how my customers are feeling, get a first-hand information about customer sensitivity of my services, right? 19 times more likely to be profitable. So in a nutshell, data-driven organizations acquire more customers, retain the customers, and yet profitable. Because one of the key aspects of the telco industry, one of the key important use case is churn analysis, right? Is it likely that my customer is likely to churn, go out of me and join my competitor in using that services and products? So that's a key aspect. If I can predict, I'll be able to make informed decision, yeah, actions appropriate to retain the customers. That's how we go about. Okay, so what is data-driven decision making? As we talk about a topic, it's always good to define, yeah, talk about the definition. It's all using facts, metrics, and data. Everything, not only data alone, but based on the experience, based on the previous metrics, we take a decision, strategic business decision, and the key aspect that has to align with your goals, objective, and initiatives. Yeah, there's a line with the company goals, shareholders' ideas, shareholders' goals. So this is a definition given by Tableau, which is part of Salesforce. They are one of the world leaders in data analytics and visualization tool. I'm going to use that tool to show you some of the demo aspects of it. See, I like this definition. It's very simple. It's a collection of data based on your company's KPIs, and briefly Mauli mentioned about KPIs, and then transforming that into actionable insights. If I'm not able to take any action after I look at the dashboard, after I look at the analytic results, it's of no use to me. So it should be collection of data based on my company's KPIs or metrics and transforming the data into actionable insights. So when organization realize the full value, yeah, meaning I have to enable my organization, when each and every employee should have access to the data, should be empowered, should be skilled up to make better decision. That we call as democratizing the data. So that is the true data culture. So these are all play an important role apart from your process and technology. We will briefly touch upon it in the later part of the presentation. Yeah, so data culture is very important. Fine. So we are setting up the stage. So why data-driven decision making is important? Because as an individual, we all make about 35,000 decisions per day. Yeah. In the working environment, we are constantly making decisions, changing a set of variables, in order to manage the ever-changing landscape and environment. And recently, you all heard about ChatGPT that's going to transform the entire industry. It cut across all the industries. People are already in education, including education. That's big impact on the education sector as well. So why data-driven decision making is important? Continuous growth, meaning I would say rapid growth in terms of retail is rapid growth, because with the omni-channel business model, how can I rapidly grow? Gone on those old days, like I took 10 years to achieve 20% growth. No, I should have rapid growth. New business opportunities, that's a way to sustain my business. Yeah, I had to raise upon to the challenges, adapt to the changes that the market is calling for. Unrivaled adaptability, this is a competitive advantage. Enhanced communication, unless I communicate within my organization, with my shareholders, with my customers, with my partners, there's no way that I'll be able to successfully run my business. That's the way it is, well connected. Yeah, it's a connected society. And finally, knowledge and innovation. We have to have a certain percentage of investments in knowledge innovation, but how do I do the investments? Some of the companies, they say about the companies investing 5% or 10% of the profit into the R&D, into the innovation centers. So that calls for data. Where do I invest? The informed decision making. All this boiled down together. And then right now, like I mentioned about the AI, so the better decisions are taken more intelligently, take away the ambiguity, inconsistency, and fatigue from human-based decision making. That's where the AI plays a vital role. That's not a threat, but you have to use it ethically. Fine. So why data-driven decisions are so successful? Let's look at some more data. Okay, because they're able to gain insight about the customers, about the market, about their own operations. Am I operating it efficiently? Am I providing services with the shortest duration of time? What kind of end-to-end life cycle for my business? How is my partners are feeling about myself? What about the competitors? So these are all the insights I should be able to get by data-driven decision making, and that I apply to my product development and marketing campaigns, because the campaign successfulness depends on targeted marketing. So how do I target the marketing? I have to segment the customers. How do I segment the customers? Unless I know the demography of the customers, their buying decision, their consuming pattern, I won't be able to do it. Okay. So improve customer experience. So how can I personalize it? One size doesn't fit all. We all know that. How do I personalize my offering, my products and services? So increase customer satisfaction. Obviously, that results in loyalty. Obviously, that results in retention. And they get repeat business. So the customer segmentation is one of the key areas across all industry where data-driven decision making is being used extensively. Yep. So we're going to talk about more about it. So they are able to reduce cost. Obviously, that's what I'm interested in. So I retain my customer, reduce cost, because indirect way of increasing my profitability, making it efficient. Yeah, for that. So organizations benefiting from data-driven decision making. Just see a one line. Let's see. What are the examples? Somebody asked. Netflix, we all know. They extensively uses analytics to do a recommendation. So recommendation engine is one of the kind of analytical, predictive analytics model where it will recommend. I know most of you are using Netflix. Yeah, I saw a movie today, and tomorrow when I go in again, it say people watched your movie, also watched these movies, or I think you are interested in this topic, family drama. There are new movies on the topic or in the genre, or you are about this director, about his actor. So this director has released a new movie. You may be interested in. So those are the recommendation engines heavily depend on data-driven decisions. Amazon, we all know that. They predict what products its customers are likely to buy. And then they try to cross-sell and upsell. So this is called a market basket analysis. And if you physically visit the brick and mortar stores, departmental stores, things won't be the same it was there yesterday. Right? They keep arranging, changing things. So that's called market basket analysis. Again, another key application of data-driven decision making. Target, one of the biggest retail departmental stores, they said predict when the customers are pregnant for what. So they will be offering the product related to the status, right? All those and post and pre-pregnancy products. So that way they try to cross-sell and upsell products. Lufthansa increased about efficiency because in terms of fuel, in terms of customer response time, everything that calls for it. So they are one of the successful airlines. Then Providence in the hospital healthcare industry, they improved quality, measure, and cost of care. That's one of the pressing need in the developed countries, particularly like in refer in Singapore and wherever it is developed countries. The cost of healthcare is a big concern, the two for the senior people. And then we have a very aging society here, by the way. So we have to take care of it. The government focuses more on it, and they heavily depend on the data to make policies that will meet their aging population. So Charles Schwab has increased their speed to business insights. And there's a financial services organization. The sooner I get the data, the sooner I get the status, I'll be able to turn around and change my investment. I need to turn around and advise my customers. Hey, look, you have to invest in this market. Yeah. So this is faster business insights. These are the kind of one-liners to stress the importance and the benefit of data-driven decision making. So what are the landscape? All is good. Are we ready? Are we all fully matured enough? See, the amount of information collected has never been greater. So I'm going to quickly show you the latest statistics here, where look at this self-explanatory. In 2020, we generated about 64 zettabytes. Yeah, gigatera and zettabytes in 2020. And by another 5 years from 2020 is going to be 181 zettabytes, almost 3 times growth within 5 years. We are talking about that kind of a data, right? So that is the data growth we're talking about. So we have to be, it's very difficult, not easy. It's just talking it very easy. I can talk about a lot on this stuff, but in reality, it's very difficult to manage and analyze. So another survey by New Vantage says 98.6%. Oh, that's a good figure, right? They aspire to be data driven. Not bad, that's great. But unfortunately, only 32.4% reported having success. 1/3. Why? Because 70 of these initiatives fail. Why? They don't have a proper data culture to support it. Like I mentioned a few slides back, every employee across the organization to be data savvy, data literate. They should be part of the data journey. If they don't feel belonging to the journey, the whole project will not be successful. That's very key. Yeah, data culture. We'll briefly touch upon all this later. Okay, fine. Now, most organizations, especially large enterprises, are investing in resources of collecting, storing, securing, analyzing the data. So they are trying to build core capabilities in their pursuit of to be data driven. One is data proficiency, which I think it talked about, which starts from data literacy, data culture, data strategy. All these are important irrespective of size and the vertical of the market. Analytical agility should be able to be analytical capable and agile to change whenever the landscape changes, because the whole market is changing. If you haven't heard about omni-channel marketing or omni-channel selling in retail about, if I'm right, about 6-7 years back, no. Before that, even this brick and mortar, then came the e-commerce, then it came totally different aspect. Okay, then the whole community. That's why the data culture plays an important role. Okay, so transforming how your company makes decisions is not an easy task, but incorporating data and analytics into decision making will pave the way for your success. Okay, so we have to have a dedicated approach to develop and refine the analytics programs, your data analytics. So that's why I'm drilling down into DDDM to DA, which DA plays a part of it. So what are the steps? I'm convinced. Yeah, I'm ready. So where do I start first? There are 6 steps. So the first thing is ask question. And analytics all, everything depends on asking question. In fact, asking the right question. Yeah, who, what, where, when, and why, to make most of the data for you, for your colleagues, for your organization, sometimes for a family as well. Yeah, so who, what, where, when, and why. So what are the 6 steps? Identify the business objectives. Yeah, this is what actually. So what do you want? What I want to achieve as an organization. So what I want to project to the stakeholders so they're satisfied the way we're running the business. Then survey business teams or key sources of data, because I'm sure most of the organizations have data. Knowingly, unknowingly, they collect data. But given point in time, I don't know where the data comes from, who is the owner, and who is maintaining it, who is storing it. I don't know. That's where the data strategy comes into effect. That is very important. The sources of data is very key. And unknowingly, a lot of organizations they create. There's a silos of data channels that we have to be aware. Oh, okay, quality department creates something, purchase and procurement, but sales, even HR. So how do I integrate them? Make sure the data is clean, stored, secured, and is available for the users, respective users. That's a total data culture to create that data democracy. That is the key critical step for success of any analytics project. Fine. Now, what is third step? Collect and prepare the data you need, obviously, because we all know the old adage, go garbage in, garbage out. So it should be quality, trusted data. Even external data, we have to check whether the source is credible. A lot of fake news are coming in. We all know that. You have to be very careful. As the technology advances, there is a room for a fake news, fake data. So we have to be very careful. So accessing quality trusted data can be a big hurdle in our business, but so we have to collect, prepare the data. and view and explore the data. In fact, most of the data scientists or data analysts spend about 60 to 80% of the time in collecting, preparing, and keeping the data ready for analysis. There is no shortcut. 60 to 80% of the time. And that's why there are a lot of now data cleaning, data preparation, or so-called data transformation tools are available. See, the good part, we do have a challenge on one side. On the other side, what are the challenges? Data is growing. Is a deluge of data flooding, right? And I need more and more demand for using the data. But on the other hand, I do have a very, very cost-effective technology to store and an effective and very, very good tool, software tools for analyzing, which is a good part of it. Yeah. So view and explore the data. So visualizing your data to get insights. Why should I visualize? Because we'll know that picture is more than 1,000 words. That's an older age again. So when I visualize, I'm able to understand it quickly and I can ask more questions. And if I'm convinced, I walk away with action in my mind. So that's view and explore. Develop insights. Like I said in the beginning, not collecting, analyzing, all is good. But what is the end result? I should be getting insights. Yeah, we're finding insights and communicating them in a useful way is very important. That how do we do it? Critical thinking with the data. Because how do I get critical thinking? That's part of your data literacy program. Because data literacy talked about 3 C's. Yeah, he said the criticality is one of the C's. Yep, we'll talk about it later. So act on and share your insights. Once you discover it, you can take action and you can also share it with your collaborators across the organization, other BUs, other functions. So these 3, 4, 5 steps are part of data analytics. So that's what you're delving into. That plays a key role. The majority part of the 6 steps is achieved by a good data analytics strategy or a project. Okay. Let's talk about data analytics. So we have drilled down to data driven to data analytics. Fine. So information is the oil. I think Dr. Devarajan very nicely, aptly mentioned it's no more an oil, it's an oxygen. But this, again, I like this quote. It's the 21st century and analytics is the combustion engine. So they match actually, oil and engine. So I wanted to refer this. So this is the quote by the head of research at Gartner, yeah, in oil. So it's necessary, but insufficient ingredient to make strategic decision. Oh, I have a lot of data. Yeah, we collect the last 20 years. We have our customer data, product sales data, procurement. But what do I do with that? There are often numbers in a spreadsheet or could be databases. But there is a big gap between the data and what you want to really achieve and what you want to get out of it. So we have to bridge the gap. So the analytics is the bridge between the data you have and the insights you're looking for. Yeah, again, I like this quote because Jordan Morrow is a father of data literacy. He's a godfather of data literacy, and I'm following him, and I like these books. So this is one of the quotes I liked it. I want to share. Yeah, fine. Now, it's a process of taking data and exploring it using tools and technology. As I mentioned, we have an excellent tools and technologies today, and they're very efficient. And then the whole aim is, the main aim is understanding on how it'll change in the future and what is the impact to my business. I mean, more than changing it, what is the impact? And the necessary action that the business could take to sustain and continue to grow. So that's a make it your advantage. So you are an early bird. If I'm able to introduce a new product or service much earlier than my competition, of course, I get my edge over my competition. I'm an early bird. I get an advantage. I get a new set of customers, new customer segment well ahead of my competition. Fine. So what are the main purpose of the data? You have to get an insight. Again, Mauli referred to descriptive statistics. I'm going to talk about it in a while. So how did we do it? First of all, I have to understand as it is a situation of a business, then get an insight. Why did we do like that? Yeah. Then you get into the foresight. What can we do? Either to maintain the good performance or to fix the bad performance. And I also wanted to refer to the quotes here by the earlier CEO of Hewlett Packard. Says the goal is to turn data into information into insight, and I may add here, then it's called wisdom. Yeah, you become wise, the business wisdom. So data to information to insight. So that takes us to the next, the type of analytics. There are 4 types of analytics as covered. Descriptive. I'll talk about it in a while, a bit detail, but descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive. So how do we really categorize them in terms of its value versus complexity? So as the circle broadens, descriptive is comparatively easier. I won't say it doesn't have value, but it says how do we do? It's a historical performance, right? So let's dwell into very detail. So we have a descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive. So what do the descriptive analytics do? So it says what happened? What happened to the business? How did we do last quarter? Hey, we introduced a new product a couple of years back. How we continue to grow, or how do we do it? So it's more of giving you an insight about your past performance. Then why did we do like that? Oh, the product X achieved 25% growth. Oh, that's great. How did we do it? What is that 1 or 2 things? Or what are the best practice? Can we share it with other product teams? Or, oh, we didn't make profit in the new branch. Why? What happened? What we didn't do well? How could we fix it? So this gives more as an insight. Then if I wanted to be successful, can I continue to do what I'm doing right now? Or should I have to change certain parameters? Should I have to change the way the process is being done, like customer complaint processing? Or should I add more salespeople, support people? All it cut across all the BUs, yeah, from procurement to sales to supply chain to HR. So that gives you your foresight. Then in order to do that, what should I do? How can we make it happen? It's prescriptive. As the name indicates, it's a prescription. I do this. I can do what if analysis. What do I do with that? Yeah, maybe you do this. Yeah, probably the Western region, the customer segments, the young groups, 25 to 30 years of this. For example, I'm running a retail, so they look for more of these products, very trendy product. It could be their dress material, shoes or goggles. What do I do? So you do this, fine. Now at the onset of the AI, we got about generative AI. We are learning. This I just added up later because there are only 4 types of analytics till probably a couple of years back. And come last September, we all talk about ChatGPT. Then the old generative AI become talk of the town. So what do I do? So I'm being more intelligent. Any kind of question, not just prescription, is have boundaries. So you can talk any type of question. Yeah. For example, how can I really improve this branch performance? Or I have never thought about a particular region. We are not doing well. How can I do it? So the generative AI really helps. It takes away the fatigue, the tiring decision making, the ambiguities, inconsistencies, all from human being. Still we use, the decision is made by human, but it assists. Yeah, it helps you to do that. So this is the latest talk, and in part of it is augmented analytics, also part of this a new learning process. So from insight to foresight, and right now the current technology, it takes you to the intelligent side. How can I be more intelligent, more smart in my decision making process? Fine. So what are the process to simplify? I'm convinced. So where do I start? What are the steps involved in data analytics? There are 6 steps. First is ask question and define problem. That's a very, very key step. In fact, I don't know how many of you read about it. After the onset of ChatGPT, there is a totally new area of specialty comes up. It's called prompt engineering. And that's one of the highest demanding role with the highest salary as a prompt engineer. So basically, if you put it in a layman's language, it's asking the right question. ChatGPT will answer your question. So if you ask, can you give me this? It'll give you, nothing wrong in it. But is it really helpful that I can even do with Google search, or I can do even with multiple research? But how we make it more smarter? So make it more applicable. So I'm going to leverage those features. I have to ask the right question to define the problem. So why I'm not able to retain my customer, or why I'm not able to grow this particular customer segment? What is the reason? So ask the question. Then you prepare the data. by collecting and storing the information. That's why we remember we recall the second step in the 6-step process where you talk to the different BUs and business functions to understand what kind of data they have, how do they collect, where do they store, so that you can collate all of them. And that's where the concept of data warehouse, data lakes all coming into effect. So you put them in one place, process the data. Yeah, it doesn't stop there after preparing and collecting. You have to process by cleaning, because 99% of the time or even more, the real world data is not clean. We call dirty data. You have to tidy up to bring a tidy data. And it requires, like I said, 60 to 80% of your time. So after cleaning, you have to transform them in order to make your analytics more meaningful, the output of analytics more meaningful, processing. So the preparation and processing is one of the critical steps of analytics. Then you analyze, and that's easier because you do have a very powerful software tools today. Yeah. Analyze the data to find patterns, relationship trends. And this is the portion where I'll be doing a demo using one of the tools in a short while, because the preparation processing is a very huge task. At least we are aware this is critical. Then you share the data, the insights with your audience. Yeah, sharing with your audience. Then act on the data and use the analytic results. Actually, the insights. So it's asking question, preparing and processing, analyzing, sharing. But the end result is acting on your insights. If I don't take any action, I'm not successful in my analytics project. So that's very clear point. So some of the quick use cases across all industry. That's where I wanted to group them up. Categorizing things. So you can ask question. I'll share some of the sample question. I made the question pretty simple so that we can understand the concept. So categorizing things, finding patterns, discovering the connection. I'll explain them in a while. Identifying themes, spotting something unusual. Yeah, very important. Yeah, examples could be a fraud transaction in your credit card, correct? Network intrusion. Somebody is trying to intrude my network. Yeah, or if it is going to be, I mean, out of the retail industry, in the manufacturing, proactive maintenance. Oh, there's a vibration of my generator. It is so bad, it's going to fail anytime. But I don't wait for it to fail. I take proactive action. So if I am able to identify some unusual trending, I can take proactive actions. And finally, predictions. Can I have a forecast? Yeah, it's a good market is growing is well and good, but how do I know what could be my requirement in the next 5 months, next 1 year, next 2 years, so that I can plan, I can budget, I can do provisioning. So these are kind of a broader area of use cases across all industries. And in the end, I'll also share some of the specific use cases. So categorizing things, finding patterns, discovering connections, identifying themes, spotting something unusual, making predictions. It's fine. Now, I'm going to use a sample data. So being a retail, I'll call this data as a global store data, and then it's really cleaned. We have a clean data, and it contains 3 different data table. Okay, Excel spreadsheet. I know most of are familiar with. Sales order is the sale transactions. Customers is the customer master data and product master data. So as soon as I get the data, the first step in analytics is called exploratory data analysis. Yeah, there's nothing to do with your insights. You have to understand as an analyst what this data is all about. So having done that, the outcome could be what are the number of columns or number of rows, meaning how many variables we have. So you could take sales order, order date, order number, amount, etc. And how many transactions I have, close to 10,000. And the customer data, close to 790 plus. They have more than 1,860 products. So how do I get all the information? That through exploratory data analysis. Irrespective of the industry, irrespective of the data sets, this is the first step in analytical process. That's how you get your, even before cleaning, sometimes we do this to understand what kind of a cleaning is required. Yeah. So I have the data for 4 years. Like I said in the beginning, I'm using a simple data set so that we understand the concept well. And I do have 3 product categories. They do have like furniture, office supply, technology. And each product category has got subcategories. So furniture has got 4 subcategory, office supply 9, etc. Then we do have 4 region. Yeah, obvious. There are 3 customer segments. Already they have segmented, because when they add a new customer, they have a mechanism to group them, to segment them, whether they belong to home office or consumer or a corporate customer. And finally, we do have different shipping mode because the products are being shipped. There are 4 different shipping modes. Why I should know all this? Only then I can ask very meaningful questions. Now, before that, one more input. Okay, I all got it. And I know there are a lot of analytical tools available in the market. And then which one I select? I mean, I can't be doing a proof of concept and all this for a long time because my project is time bound, very critical. So that's why the Gartner's reports are very helpful. So Gartner is actually a leading research and advisory international consulting company. They provide you the results of their evaluation of different software tools, including analytics, could be cloud software, cybersecurity, ERP, name any software. They will have the report and presented nicely in a graphic form called Gartner Magic Quadrant. So there are 4 quadrants. I'm not going to detail. We all look at the top right corner, the leaders in the market, leaders in the world. So that's where we have Microsoft, you have a Salesforce, and I'm going to use a Tableau, which are equally in the good as Microsoft because of its nature of ease of use, a shorter learning curve, etc. I'm going to use Tableau to quickly show you how to create some of the quick graphs before I get insight from them. Okay, so there is a Tableau evaluation version you can download, and Tableau Public, which is free to download. So that's a good part about it, and I'm going to use them. So Tableau is one of the leading analytics and BI software. Fine. So just a checkpoint. Am I running with the right speed or running a bit fast? How is it going?
Perfect speed. Perfect
okay,
speed.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to make sure. Just stop me if I'm running fast, right? So Tableau.
Can you just explain the 2 axes of this quadrant?
Okay, good. This one. First, we start with visionary. Visionary, where those startups will come in. Give me a second. So this is where the startups will come in. Okay. So here you can see this is the new, for example, a company ThoughtSpot, Oracle still there. You know, IBM, one of the big companies, TIBCO, SAP, they are still there because their main product is not analytics and business intelligence. Then the niche players, they have improved and they have come out of the visionary. They are seriously getting into the market, and I'm sure most of you heard about Zoho. Yeah, they're coming up as a very good product from India, supporting SMEs on CRM and analytics. Then these challenges, you know, these guys all, these challenges, they are companies which are matured enough, but they are competitors to the market leaders. So they are challenges. So the leaders here actually are the market leaders. So Microsoft, the product called Power BI, and Tableau used to be a separate company, and then I think 3-4 years back acquired by Salesforce, so it's become part of the Salesforce. Then another company called Click. These 3 are been in the market leader for, as far as I know, about 5-6 years now. Probably Microsoft was introduced later than Tableau. So Tableau used to be here in maybe early 2010 or 11. Then Microsoft took over. But again, they are equally good. And then if you ask me which is better, there is no answer because it's all contextual. It depends what I want to do. Is it suitable for my company? So that's where you have to evaluate. But these gardeners will help you to shortlist, to pick the top 2 or top 3, and then go about it. Okay. It's a very, very handy Gartner Magic Quadrant. We all use it. Fine. Now, Tableau, my last question. Now I have the data set. I have the sales transaction from a global store. So I'm going to ask questions, right questions. I said, I'm going to make the question simple. The first question is going to be, how did we do in each region? Very simple question, right? Past descriptive analytics. In terms of sales, how did we do? Second question is, do we see a growth in terms of profit across all the product categories? There are 3 product categories, right? Do we see a growth? How about customer segment? How do the customer segment do? Which customer segment is more profitable? Okay, and who is my top customer, one or a group of customers? Because I have to, you know, take care of them, make sure they stay with us. Are we profitable in each of the shipping mode? Because sometimes the shipping modes, some of them may be profitable, some of them may not be, whatever reason, but unless we identify and take a decision, we'll continue to make losses in one and continue to make profit another. How about the profit and sales in a state-wise? Yeah, because there's a demographic information my customers are available. It could be seasonal, it could be the age group. How do I see the sales and profit by states? Do we see something unusual? I'll show you some charts there. Can we predict a forecast? Because the data is from 2011 to 2014, but how do I know what could be or what would be my sales? Or how many quantities of each product do I need? How do I predict? So I just kind of simplified in order to understand the concept. So how are you going to do these, answer these 8 questions? Okay, so I'm going to open up a Tableau. I've already opened up a Tableau for a quicker one. This is the, can you see the screen? Yep. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep. Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay, great. Thank you. I want to make sure. So this is the opening screen of the Tableau. It's pretty simple. I'm going to show you. So I know I have 3 Excel files. Remember, we had a sales, customer, product. So I'm going to go into, I'm going to connect this. So Microsoft Excel, and this is the global store. We already selected. You can go into the directory and select it. So I've selected the global store, and these are my 3 products I have. Yeah. This one, customer, product, sales order. So all I'm going to do is drag the sales order into my source area. And I'm going to look at this is my data. You'll have the ship mode, customer ID, order ID. So there are 11 variable or 11 columns. There are totally 9,900 rows, correct? So but the sales order, only I have a customer ID only, but I don't have any other information of the customer. I do have product code only. I don't have any other information product code, but they're all available in the master file. So how do I link them up? So I have to link, correct them in order to get an insight. Yeah, these are the things we got. So we have to connect them so that I get a single view of the entire data set. So that's the beauty of these tools actually. I don't need to worry, how do I connect, how do I do it? So all I do is open up the sales order and drag and drop your other files, whichever files you may have 1 or 2 or 4. So look at that relationship it is creating automatically. These are relationships, meaning the sales order, I have a customer ID. That ID have details of the customer here. I have a product ID. That ID has got details of the product, description, etc. So that's how the whole thing works in. Fine. So what's my first question? Let me go back to my question. How did we do in each region? Okay. So I'm going to go into this is my visual area. Right. So all the so-called the column name or variables are all here. Easy now. So what are the 2 variables I'm going to work with? Region and sales, correct? So I drag the region here to my rows, and then sales to my column. And you can have a type of diagram. This is a bar chart, but I'm more interested in the pie chart. So I can create a pie chart. This is my wizard. Yeah, this is my wizard for selecting type of visual: pie chart, bar chart, line chart, different charts. So I'm going to have the entire view here. Close this. This is but how do I display the label? So I have the region here. So region, correct? And then the sales. So I got the sale. So this is how it is. But usually pie chart, what do we do? We display the percentage for each of them because that'll be good, right? So how do I make these numbers? These are all in dollars, $765,000. How do I make them into numbers? So it's very easy to do. I have the percentage of total. But still, I need the total sales amount. Once more, I drag and drop. And I don't need this legend because it's redundant. So it's pretty clean. And give a title here, sales by region. Sorry. Okay. So now can you tell me which region is doing well? Very, very easy, right? Up into it. West region because it's 33%, followed by East. And the lowest sales is a southern region because they do only 17%. It looks simple. I took simple question because the whole idea is to understand the concept. So this is categorizing things. I categorized by region. So this was my first chart. What about the second question? Do we see a growth across all product categories? Yeah. So let's go to the next one. So product category. Where is the product category? This is product category. Okay, rows. And then I track the sales here. Yeah, this is sales. Okay. And you can also look at, see the type of charts also you can change it. Let me refer my this thing, because the first one we saw connected product by sales region. Again, finding pattern. Do we see a growth in terms of profit? So if you wanted to draw in terms of timeline, because the first one I did is without timeline, but are we seeing a growth over a time? So how do I do it? Go back. Right, you have the order date. So you have this, correct? And I'm going to change this one. And then I'm going to have the product category here. Where is product category? Color. And then I'm going to show the entire one. And then I can have the product category in the label. So normally it's a good practice to show the label in the chart instead of the legend. This is a legend, because since it's you can easily refer them here. So I don't need the legend here. I hide it. Correct. So this is my sales. But if you don't want sales, I'm looking at the profit. I track the profit here. So what do you see here? It's self-explanatory. My technology office supplies continue to grow year over year, but furniture, I would say flat, because from 2011-2012 it declined. From 2012 to 2013 it increased. Again it declined. It's up and down. So net is a flat. So which one you will focus now? We will immediate focus is furniture. Why are we not making a growth, profit growth in furniture? It's a question to ask. So what should I do? That's where you drill down further. This the information may not be sufficient, but it requires more data or more charts. But at least you have the high level question. I know when I walk away, hey, furniture, we are not doing well. Yeah, that's kind of a takeaway. So this is the second question. So third one, we are going to talk about, how about the customer segment? The same profit, how about the customer segment? Okay, so let's look at the customer segment. Go back to your thing. I have the customer segment here. Remember we had a 3 segment customer segment, and you do have, let me refer my chart. Here it is, the same way I will do it. Right, order date. There is a profit. Yeah, I'll change it, profit. And I have the customer segment to the color. And I'm going to have a monthly sale, right? Because this is a year, I can have a monthly sale. Yeah, this is my customer segment to the label. I have it. And then, so what do you look at it? Which one you think, which segment is more profitable? So I just click on one of them and you're able to see that. The consumer segment is kind of highly profitable. What about the corporate segment? The second, followed by second. But the home office is not really that profitable. And they do have some negative, because this is 0, this is negative. So this is actually a very handy thing saying, hey, overall, I think consumer, we are doing well. I know there are some ups and downs, but overall, consumer is doing well.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I mean, you may be covering, so my apologies in advance.
No worries. Go ahead.
Suppose I want to have a cross factorial that in consumer segment, how is the, let's say, particular product segment profitability?
Oh, yes, you can.
You're going to show that?
Like I said in the beginning, I took a simple one so that I don't want to, confuse and complex. You can do that.
Okay.
The next level, definitely. See, that is the beauty. See, I'm still not arrived at a conclusion, right? I'm still exploring. So I'm going a bit fast because I'm familiar with the tool. But as a newcomer, you won't find it very difficult. You spend a couple of hours, you are at it. So that's the beauty of this product.
Yeah. I'm just saying the power of the tool is you can combine the factors.
You can combine. You can combine. There are so many. See, you have a lot of charts here. There is a combo chart where you have a bar chart and line. You can do that. Yeah, you have a stacked bar. You have a clustered bar. A lot of other visualization. Again, that opens up another area of data visualization. So that I should know what chart to use when. Otherwise it will mislead the audience. You shouldn't confuse the audience. Correct. So visualization again skill is another important skill before insight. So you get a very good visualization of our insights sharing is solved. And then again, the other next factor, now they're talking about data storytelling. Not enough if you show this like what I'm doing now, show a chart and explain. You should be able to weave a story to tell the audience because that connects the audience very well. I mean, you recall your childhood. If when you grandma or a granddad say, don't do it, we may not follow, but they'll tell a story. If you do, this will happen. They'll tell a story. So that kind of embeds in your mind. So when you tell story, the audience won't be they won't be skeptical. They won't question you unnecessarily. They will ask question, but they will connect you more closer. That's why the data storytelling is the next very hot topic and one of the critical skills for any data scientist or data analyst. So that's another topic again. Okay. So this is again the other chart. Okay. So likewise, we are able to. I will pass through some of them. So I'm just showed you to show how easy and how effortless to create charts. So finding patterns. So said profit trend by customer segmentation we did. So who is my top customer in terms of sales? So let me do that actually quickly. Who is my top customers in terms of sales? So top customers, I need my quantity as well as my sales amount. So I'm going to drag the sales amount and I'm going to do the quantity. So this is the summation, whereas I want for each and every customer. So this is my. So what I'm doing, I'm plotting sales amount versus quantity. So obviously, where will be my top customer in terms of sales amount? It will be the right extreme because this is my amount column. So this is my top customer in terms of sales, whereas this is my top customer in terms of quantity. So just over your mouse, you say Jonathan is a customer name, is 150 quantity, whereas Sean Miller has got $25,000 worth of products. Yeah, but fine. But can I see how the regions are doing in terms of the top customer? So where is the top customer come from? Which region? So you drag the region and you got this region here, right? So my top customer is from southern region. My top customer in quantity is from eastern region. It gives you a pattern. Can you see something here? More crowded, right? This is more crowded. Am I right? So what it shows you? When I kind of draw a line, for example, this is my 4K line, right? So when I'm able to draw the line here, yeah, and then the line here, can I say most of my customers buy 4K or less worth of goods? Because most it's concentrated, right? This is the area where it's concentrated. Most of my customers buy quantities of 80 or below. This is very general trending. I'm not pinpointing. So that's again a beauty of it. On the other hand, how the central is doing. So this is only central. Yeah, again, it's all concentrated, 80 below, not even 4K below. So what about the East region? So East region, yeah, they do have, because East comes, the largest quantity comes from East, and then you have a big customer in terms of sales, 14K, say 15K, etc. How about the South? South, not much. Yeah, not much of a sales. West one, yeah, West is where we have again a 19,000 and right, but again all 84K. So each of these region you'll be able to filter. So the user is given the facility to do this simple filtering. I don't need to know anything. The question, how is the West doing? Who is my top customer in South? So I need to know what question to ask. So this is my top customer. Fine, I've done it. This is discovering connections. What are the connection between my top customer sales and quantity? Fine. How was the profit for each ship mode by product category? Yeah, for example, I'll show you the graph. So discovering connection again. Can you see this is self-explanatory. So the each color is the shipping mode, you have multimodal transport, road transport, and each of these divisions here are the product. Okay, this is the product: furniture, office supply, technology. So for each of the product group, so what is the pattern you're seeing? I don't need to explain, self-explanatory, right? Because the brown or the dark yellow is multimodal. So that's been profitable across all product category. And also I have a line here. This is my average profit line for this category, technology category. Yeah, so each line I can create. I'll show you how to create. So this is my average profit for office supply. So my multimodal ship mode not only meets average, but goes beyond the average. Whereas my same day delivery is not at all doing well across the product category. So the question to ask to the logistics or supply chain department is, A, are we going to continue to provide the same day delivery mode, or are you going to retire it? Some of them will come back and say, no, some of our big customers use this mode, so I can't afford to totally get away. So those are the discussion should happen, right?
One question.
Part of the action. Yeah.
One question, Swaminathan.
Yep.
This is the absolute total value per category of shipping mode. But more important decision parameter will be value per unit of sale, correct?
Yeah. See, the question is what the question? How was the profit for each ship mode by product category?
Suppose I refine the question as,
yeah, you can.
How was the profitability per unit profitability per ship mode?
You can do that. You can do that.
Done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All, like I said, the beginning boils down to the question, because you are right, absolutely right, because your question will be different from my question. Yeah. So this is what we do. So how much time we have? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. So next one is going to be, did all the states have good sales? How about in terms of profit? So let me go back to my this thing. I'm going to do it. So state, I'm going to give there's a postal code here, right? So just drag and drop the postal code. It's going to create a map. But this map is a Singapore map because my product is installed in Singapore. The system is pretty smart. So, but the data is from the US. This, by the way, the global store is a US company. So edit location. I'm going to change the location because it's not Singapore anymore. It's United States. Yeah. This is United States. So I'm going to, yeah, this is my US graph. Fine. Postal code. So I'm going to have my sales figure. Where do I put the sales here? So the maps, actually, I'm going to embed the sales into the map. I'm going to use this as size here. So each one is my sales. So I'm going to increase a bit more. Can you look at this? So the blue bubbles are all the sales numbers, and the bubble size is the actual sales amount. So if you hover your mouse here, a postal code and sales amount, but postal code doesn't make sense to me, right? All I want to know the state. So what do? I drag the state to the as a tooltip. Each one I'll explain later. Okay, this is my. So Washington, 21,000. California, now 12,000. Again, this is another. Yeah, this is California only state, but this is different postal code. And what about this one? Newark. So what is your pattern you're looking at now? Can you identify what pattern you're looking at? Without any absolute numbers. So all the border states seems to be doing well. Am I right in saying that? Yeah, because you got a bigger the bubble, bigger the sales. So all the border towns are doing better sales. Then somebody asked a question, hey, how about the region? I mean, which region they belong to? It's pretty simple. They drag the region to the color, then I get the region here, correct? So the green is the west and red is south, etc. Central. So I think generally central, because the bubble sizes are all pretty smaller than the other region. In fact, even south is much smaller. That means both east and west are comparatively doing very well. So this is more of a identification of a theme, meaning all the border states seems to be doing well in terms of sales. So out of these regions, west and east seems to be doing well. I mean, this is very generic because the stakeholders may not be interested in going into much detail. You can drill down. I'll show you the next one on the profit side. This is for the sales. So I'll say sales map. Yeah, because this is, see, I didn't do a mapping. I didn't draw anything. You drag and drop each of these fields or the column name to get the charts. So once you are at it, you are empowered to drill down to filter everything what you want, because you know what you want. As an analyst, assuming I'm an analyst, I can provide you the base. I can load the data. I can create some graphs. So when I put all these together as a dashboard, you have a very interactive dashboard to work with. Fine. So let's go to the next map. So next map is going to be, I'm going to have the state here, state, and then I'm going to have what is called the other. This is called the field map. Yeah, this is called the symbol map. This is the field map. I got the field map. And then I'm going to drag the profit to the color. So what do you see? A self-explanatory. The darker the blue, more the profit. Lighter the blue, less profit, and the blue migrates into a yellow means loss. So we are using what is called the color hue or saturation. So our eyes are more tuned to the darker colors. As soon as you look at the map, I'm drawn to this dark blue or the yellow because they stand out, right? Because California is the highest profit, followed by New York, whereas North Carolina is making losses. Immediate action. See, what about the country head, the region head? So what are you guys doing it? Then you drill down North Carolina. Is it all the products or which product? Yeah, or which subcategory or which ship mode? So that opens up a lot of other questions. Yeah, but I simplified my question, with a given time limit. But you see here, you will be asked, you will be made to ask question. So that's the beauty of visualization. But when I see a table of numbers, I don't get much out of it. So there's unlimited question because that interests to you. Maybe I'm the regional manager for California, so I'm more interested in that. Means profitable is good, but are we making profit across all product category, across all shipping mode? Then I need to have something to do about it. So this is about the mapping, correct? So this is about my state map. Fine, profit by state. Got it. So do we see something unusual? So this I'm going to use it. I'm going to show it. I'm going to ask you a question. Something unusual. So this is going to be what is called the heat map. So I'm going to use it. So order date. Order date here. Then product subcategory here. Correct. And then your, which one is a profit or a profit? Okay, profit. So drag the profit color. So what do you see here? I'm not going to tell you what I'm seeing. So one of you can tell me what you see here. Darker the blue, more profit. Lighter the blue towards yellow, loss. Self-explanatory. My eyes are drawn to the left extreme where darker blue. The more than that, right extreme, yellow. So that subcategory table continues to make losses. And the maximum loss was in year 2014. Look at this one. Yeah, this is 2014, where
can we convert this into
right?
Can we convert it into trend graph because years are mentioned?
You can convert it as a trend graph.
Because since the time dimension is there.
Yeah, you can. You come comparing it. This is, but it'll be a bit tough because you have a subcategory. You have 18, right? So there'll be 18 lines. You can, but what I'm saying to say, 18 line. So probably instead of a subcategory, if I put a product category, then it could be that we did it in the beginning. So see, that's what we learned. Trending is good. Absolutely right, because the time series analysis, I need to have a line graph. But since I have 18 subcategories, I'm making it as a, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. I'm going to make it as, see a minute. Making it as a, this is called a heat map. Because here, more than the absolute numbers, I want to have a very unusual trending. This is unusual. Look at the bookcases. Pretty interesting, right? There seems to be on and off. Maximum loss in 2012, I think very marginal profit in 2013. What about this one? Machine. Yeah, how come machine is declining? This is actually a worrying trend, right? Because they kind of keep on increasing up to year 2013 and suddenly drop to a loss. This is a worrying trend in machine learning. Sorry, in the machines, right? So the whole idea of this is without much effort, it make you to think. I quickly make you to identify the unusual patterns. I just took one. So usually people talk about the outliers. If it's a banking transaction and a credit card spending, a particular customer XYZ, and it shows, and suddenly there's a spike. I know this average spending of the customer is $3,000 per month, but I see a $12,000. It could be a genuine transaction, but it could be a fraudulent transactions. But they don't wait till then. It's real time, like Big Mauli said in the beginning. Whenever that's why you swipe your card, it takes a fraction of a second to really validate, and then if you already set up a card spending limit, it will be declined. Or some of them high spending, you get a call from the bank. I used to get a call. Hey, are you using a card here in this shop? You are charging $8,000. Yes. Or they'll send you a message, whichever mode of communication you prescribe. So they interactively or proactively monitor the fraudulent transactions. Okay. So this is also very handy in the network intrusions. So they won't allow you to log in. When you're trying to intrude, they say unusual access from not a normal location or a device, they will block it. So this is the second one. Fine. So I'm just trying to cover all the answer the question. The next question is, we saw the unusual. So what is the action item? I have to review the table. Are we selling at the right pricing? Or is it our cost of sale for table is acceptable? Or the final question, do we really wanted to continue to offer tables as part of the offering? It's a good question, right? Very strategic question, important decision to be taken by the higher up. But maybe our cost of sales for table may not be acceptable. So how can we reduce it? Or can you cross sell? Suppose people buy, where the more accessory, when they buy accessory, maybe you bundle table for a special pricing. So all those, like I said, the market basket analysis is one of the key model in retail comes into effect. Okay. Now, can you get a forecast? So I'm going to show this very quickly because it's very easy to get a forecast. So this forecast is actually a exponential algorithm. It's also available in Excel. So the forecast usually for sales or profit is going to time bound or time related graphs, right? So I have the time here. So I put the time here. Then I have the sales amount here. And then this is now because only 4 years that 4 years that I'm going to drill down a bit by month. So this is my sales from 2011 to 2014 on a monthly basis. Fine. It's all fixed data. So I need a forecast. How do I need a forecast? Just double click on the forecast. It's all done. So your actual is a darker blue line. Okay, here. And this is my forecast. Okay, this is my forecast. And you can also actually, when you can also change it. So for example, you have the forecast, you have the forecast options, because by default, it is giving it to you for next 13 months only. Whereas I can say exactly 2 years and see dynamically it varies, right? And also you have what is called the confidence level, because whenever we do a forecasting, we build with the confidence level in terms, otherwise it's a plus minus 5% accuracy. That's why you see a band there, a line and a light color bands. These are the bands, right? This is one band. Sorry. This is the top band, bottom band. So when the industry standard for forecast is 95%. If it's a healthcare, my prediction confidence level should be 99.9% because you're predicting something. Maybe the chances of of getting COVID-19 or any other infection is very, very critical. Yeah, so accuracy is very important. So for every industry, so how do I know? There are some best practices. So here you look at it. I'm not a forecast expert. I don't know the algorithm. I don't know how do I do the forecast, but it gives you a very decent level of forecast. But if you tell me no, only sales and time is not enough, I do have my number of salespeople and the regional factors, then I should go for machine learning, predictive machine learning, where I have multiple factors, like regression analysis, use it to really predict using multiple input. Here, two inputs only, my time and my sales. But it's pretty good for all practical purposes. So same way you can do it for quantity. I did it for sales. You can do it for quantity. Okay, fine. So this is my forecast. So this, I mean, what I took you through is more than two things. One, the whole process. Second, asking the right question and using this. So this is pretty easy. People are a bit worried. I know Excel is a great tool, but it's not so interactive and make things easy for you. But it's a great tool. But I won't be able to do it so fast. Maybe I have more than 5 years of experience in Excel. I can produce a decent level of graphs, but I should be a bit of an expert in doing it. But here you don't need. So this is part of democratizing the data and empowering every employee to be a self-service in analytics. Yeah, that's a talk of the town. So demo, we did it, making prediction, quantity. So now quickly before we wrap up, we went through the data-driven decision making, where one of the critical module is data analytics. Under analytics, we saw the 6 steps: asking the question, cleaning, preparing, which I already done it, analyzing, and then the important part is getting insights. Yeah, I love this quote actually. We are surrounded by data, but starved for insights. Obviously, there is no shortage of data. Every company, small or medium or big, they collect knowingly, unknowingly. One side is a good point, another side it's also a bad thing, because without knowing what to do, how to do a lot of. And then there was a survey saying so far less than 2 or 3% of the data is being really used across organizations. Yeah. So ability to present insights is effectively a critical skill. That's why I talked about presenting it. So then who is the first thing? Who is the audience? Because stakeholders looking at different type of visual. Yeah, your first line managers will be different. Whereas your operational steps, totally different insight. So we have to cater to the audience. So first thing, who is my audience? What is that they are looking at? So that's key thing. Then you prepare your charts and highlight the insight, but expect questions. Like rightly Mouli asked, expect questions and you prepare to answer the question. So that way, storytelling is one of the great skill in order to talk to the audience. Instead of simply presenting a nice dashboard and chart like I did just now, you need to weave a story. Fine. So mastering this art individual to transform into compelling stories. Then is actionable insights. So the actionable insights or the bridge between the data and the impact. Oh yeah, we have a great team, we have great data, great tool. Fine. So what is the outcome? Oh, I should say actionable insight. I'm getting great insights. I understand. I have a better understanding of business. I know what to do in order to sustain my growth. So those are things we do. Okay. What are actionable insight? A true value of data lies in its existence, but in the actions, not only existence, like I said. So customer churn, for example, rather than just stating the customer churn, oh, we are likely to churn 10% of our customer base. Yeah, so what? So you give them turnaround time. So this 10% will turn around within the next 6 months. What are the reasons? Competition. And then give more detail. What are the reason? Lack of new offering. You didn't offer anything new to them. That doesn't excite them. And this is the key case in any telco, right? Customer churn is one of the biggest challenges, also one of the biggest applications, the use cases in telcos. Right? Now, the actionable insights also simplify decision making, because when so for example, some of the charts here. I showed you the heat map. You saw the table. It's self-explanatory. The table is not at all doing well. It's continued to do losses in all the 4 years. So you really walk away. You are assuming you are a product manager of this particular product. You know what to do, right? And then I'm going to share some of the some 3 use cases in the retail industry. This one is a DFI retail group. It's called a dairy farm, already known as a dairy farm. And they have a Hong Kong-based company. They do have legal bases in Bermudas and Singapore. And they are saying there are around 10,000 outlets. So imagine they have a grocery, convenience store, health and beauty stores, home furnishing, a lot more. So they are able to get a full picture of his business in just few clicks. Yeah, make decisions. Micro and macro trends. Because earlier they used to take days or hours together to churn out a report. And I love the last paragraph. Everyone in the team can now access the same insights. That's a true definition of data democratization, or my company has got a very good data culture. So every employee is enabled, every employee is empowered to access the same insights and data from anywhere, anytime. So this helps them to make meaningful decision and contribute, pinpoint issues. It doesn't say that, oh, he's a senior executive there, or he's a junior employee there. No, it doesn't matter. This is called the true data or analytics democratization. All right. So use cases. Second is Zalora. I know most of you know. The first one, driving brand success, because they I'll add some more here. For example, I jumped it. Sorry about it. So the business performance they're able to measure. For example, the management can easily drop in penetration rate. Being a retail with omni-channel sales, penetration rate is one of the KPIs, critical KPIs for retail. So they are able to see, oh, there is a penetration drops in from month to month. So I know now, so I can take an action. Then drill down to the underlying data in few clicks to find out where exactly, which region or under which product category the decline is happening. Yeah, the penetration declination. So they are able to get these insights very quickly. That's why driving brand success. When you introduce a new brand, it's a challenge. I mean, I can't expect every customer loves and likes to buy this brand. So I have to constantly keep track of my brand sale. Okay. The next one is actually Zalora. Again, this is online fashion, and they have millions of customers across Asia. So their main thing is they do have an excellent application called a Trender. That's a revenue data platform that has grown 100% year over year. It's a kind of a double-digit growth, right? So automated onboarding of new brand, because Zalora can bring in new vendors, new suppliers, and then they all, when come on board, they use the Trender application. So there, I like the slogan, Rob, data first, then fashion, because it is important for every brand to have a full picture of what's happening. Because company X, company Y, company Z, or whatever comes on board to Zalora's platform, and they all interested in their own revenue growth, and also that works out to be the Zalora success. So it is important for brands to have a full picture of what's happening in the market, especially when everything is changing so fast. The biggest change or the biggest challenge is the retail industry, and any vertical still the industry that has to catch up is construction, and to some extent manufacturing and supply chain logistics. Because retail and finance, they are upfront running. So this is a full picture of what's happening. Then end to end, I know we introduced the brand and they came on board within 6 months. This is the revenue. What is the growth? So data first, then fashion. I like this slogan. Then finally is Marico. Marico is actually an Indian multinational consumer product. Now they represent all the Parachute, Sephora, and hair care products. They analyze large amount of data on retail behavior because it's true retail. You all know the Parachute brand, Sephora oil. So sales and marketing, inventory, procurement, everything are key inputs. So they have to stock it. At the same time, they can overstock it, and they have to order in advance to replenish, all interlinked. So the gaining detailed insight in the company's performance is very, very important. So they are able to, save about 5 to 20 man hours per month, which is huge. Assuming there are 20 people working, is 400, man hours per month, which is a huge saving in terms of man hours. So earlier they used to produce about 40 reports and dashboards, but when they introduced Tableau, of course this is a success story from Tableau, they're able to now quickly do it by saving efforts, manpower. So these manpower efforts can be deployed to other productive areas, right? Having sales performance information readily available on a daily basis was a challenge as the top management. So if you look at some of the insurance companies, because the insurance agents, they very rarely go to the office, so they always on the road, on the move. So they meet clients, they talk about it, and the clients ask, hey, what are my policies and what is the due next time and where is it, what is the surrendered value? they should be having all this data in their finger points. That's where these analytics on mobile help them to get the data. So the main system from the company pushes these reports on a daily basis. So when he opens up, he's able to get it. So type the customer information is going to give you, oh, your customer's got 4 policies. One of the policies is completed all the insurance payments, etc. Same thing retailing, the branch managers will have what is the replenishing plan for this week or today even. It's the biggest retail and a daily replenishment plan. So there's huge, I'm just more simplifying it, but the huge amount of activities are happening. Okay, so before we conclude, I will quickly go through one of the key criteria. I think I mentioned it a few times because the critical building block for all this is data, right? So why data is so important? Because it's a valuable asset, gold mine, and we talked about oil and as well as oxygen as well. So that has got a potential to transform the world. Yeah, because it shows you the new opportunities, business and growth, enable cheaper, faster, everything. No doubt about it. I don't argue. But what is the challenge is the rapid growth. And I want to refer these two companies. They are data-driven companies to the core, Google and Amazon, right? For example, Google, what is the data? They have a Google Cloud and all this, but the main product is data. Likewise, Amazon. Yeah, their business model are fundamentally built around data. That's why they are able to talk about very rapid growth. The classic example for rapid growth in retail is Amazon. I know you all are aware of that. So I don't need to insist further. But then without data, you are just another person with an opinion, right? Which is true. Yeah. So according to a report, again, PwC, the data-driven organization outperformed their competitors by 6% in profitability and 5% in productivity. Both are kind of two sides of a coin. I keep continue to make a lot of profit by productivity. I'm not up to the mark, no good, or either way. So profitability and productivity are two sides of a coin. So I'm trying to make improvements in both, which is the best output of your analytics. So 162% more likely to surpass revenue goal companies. 58% more likely to beat the revenue goal, the non-driven counterparts. So again, it's a capital mistake to theorize before one has data. So everyone, even Sherlock Holmes, they stress the need for complete data-driven organization. Yeah. So I'll just quickly go through. For example, 81% of organization agree data should be the heart of the all business, but only 31% of companies have significantly restructured. Look at the word, restructure their operation. If I continue to do what I'm doing and introduce a data analytics project initiative, guaranteed that it won't be a successful. So I have to restructure. Restructuring starts from employee base. How do I empower them? So that's why that the data plays a key role. Yeah, because 32% of the respondents overwhelmed with data. Now we saw that we are producing every individual is producing data at this very high rate. By 2025, it'll be 180 zettabytes, 5 times more than 2020. So data can be the lifeblood of the organization if it allowed to flow freely across the entire ecosystem. That's a key message. So I have to empower. I should make sure the data is available. So it's often, what are the challenges? We do agree it's not easy. Data islands, I think, which I talked about, proliferation data sources, because there is no data strategy or data governance, all these interconnected words. When you say data culture across the company, I define where is the data coming from, who collects, who owns it, and who protects it, and who is making it available to the employees, and who are the users. We call data stewards and data governance all part of this. I know I'm using some of these jargons, but everything boiled down to data culture, whether my company is enabled with a suitable data culture, because again, one size doesn't fit all. My company, my size, my vertical, my type of products and customers, my data culture will be different. But basically everything common has got what is called a data centric talent. So I'm going to quickly go through that. It's called a digital society, and this we talked about. People, process, or the primary blockers, not technology. Unfortunately, people invest more on technology without focusing on people and process. So what is stopping organization from using technology to enable people across the changes. So I'll just quickly pass through. This is speak data fluently. Yeah, because people, process, technology all should be centered around data. And the one way to do is make every employee data literate, data literacy, because that is again talk of the town. So one of the critical skill, it's a common data language across the organization, irrespective of your level in the organization, your technical capability, skills, knowledge, qualification, whatever. So data literacy, and it's an ongoing journey. Yeah, this is a common data language. So 69% of the decision makers say lack of data skill stops employee from using data effectively, which is not good for the organization. 69-70% is almost close to 3/4 of the organization, very close, right? So what is data literacy? So using data effectively everywhere for business action. This is a pretty simpler one, but I like the Gardner explanation. You should be able to read, write, and communicate data in the context, including an understanding of the data source. So that ability to describe the use case applications. So this is what about data literacy. So how do I do it? I have to start from data literacy, go to actually the arrow should be reversed. No, data analytics, data driven decision making. So we call it data mastery. When my company has got a good data culture where focus is more on data literacy of all the employees, then guaranteed that my data analytics project will be successful, and which really make my organization as a data driven organization. Correct. The summary: improved and easier to use technology have democratized the data, which I think I mentioned about it. So there is no problem in getting the process, the technology, the tools to collect, to clean, to process, to analyze, to share. But you need the right culture, right people, right? And the data culture, which again combines with data strategy and data governance. For example, governance means who collects, who is the owner, who is protecting the data, all this. Somebody has to be accountable. Otherwise, it'll be no man's baby, right? Data governance. The first step to get the entire organization as data literate. So as one of the, and again, I'm one of the, passionate man for data literate. I've been talking to many companies. As a company, we are also talking to this. So in the conclusion, data is a new oil, but it's valuable only if it is refined. Like, you got a crude oil, we make into vehicle fuel, we can do gas, plastic, chemicals to create a valuable entity. So I like this. So Clay Humbley is actually he's a British mathematician and an entrepreneur, and then he's also a data scientist in a big analytics consulting company called the Star Count. And I like this quote. So what it means for analytics in business: invest in data infrastructure, collect quality data that is actually useful. It can be an asset that keeps adding value. Be aware of the ethical issues. So you have to be ethically, aware of the data analytics project. Even that is a challenge with AI as well today. Ethical use. You have to be very careful about fake data, credibility of the data sources. So the invest in data infrastructure actually includes empowering employees. So with the call to action, you have to see the current level of your data maturity or analytics maturity. And then there are tools and consulting services available. That's the first thing. Where am I now? Should I have to start from ground zero, or I'm in stage 1, stage 2? You have to know that, otherwise we'll be wasting resource and time. So where the current state? Identify the need and plan to hire data professional and upskill. See, it can't be only upskilling my existing team and continue with the project. No, you need some new hires in order to leverage, in order to push the whole project. At the same time, you have to upskill the current staff. Then I create a data-driven culture and data strategy. That is very important. It is to the size of the organization. So the data in the right place of good quality is very, very important. Yeah, to start your journey on data-driven decision making. So hopefully, I know a bit of last one is a bit of a rushing one. Hopefully, I think I was able to cover end-to-end overview of data-driven decision making, the importance of data analytics, part of DDM, and then the criticality of the data literacy. And also show you a demo of the tool, because you shouldn't be worried, oh, if you have a new tool, what do I do? So in a couple of hours, you'll be very comfortable with this tool. And particularly this company, again, have a lot of tons and tons of materials online. If anybody wants to have the links for the use cases, I picked up only 3 of them. There are number of use cases for each vertical, the retail, finance, supply chain, logistic, education, HR, everything. I'm happy to share. So I'll open up now questions now. I know the bit of overtime, but still we have time. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you very much. For me,
Yeah.
it was very, very educative, since I come from a zero base knowledge of this. And maybe you can unshare the slide.
Yeah.
So that we can.
I'll do that. Yeah. Yep.
Lot of appreciation, vote of thanks are coming. We would like to
I'm
also
just following up with the chat line. Yeah.
Yeah, and before they warm up their questions, let me start with one of my questions.
Sure.
We have 10 minutes for a soft stop and maybe another 10 minutes for a hard stop.
Yeah.
Depends on what is the time in Singapore now. What's the time in Singapore now?
It's 3:20.
Oh,
PM.
okay. So you're
No worries.
working
I know I'm a bit overrun, but I just want to cover end to end. So let's stress the importance of it.
Very well covered. It's more of a awareness session where everybody is motivated to know more. That is the idea. One question from my side.
Yeah.
Data analytics. What we saw today in the demo, can we augment it further with IoT driven data analytics?
Definitely. So it's a very good question, Mauli. But see, I didn't show the input of data source. I used Excel, but the Tableau can take data from different type of sources.
Oh.
Yeah, directly from databases, directly from web, directly from, for example, Oracle, SAP, and also there are, IoT data will be very raw. So in between, they also have what is called connectors. So the IoT data goes to the connector. From the connector, I can connect it to Tableau. And then there is a Tableau preparation module, which helps you to clean up, because obviously the IoT data will have a lot of quality issues. Definitely. So you have to assess, clean up, and do the necessary transformation before you upload into Tableau analysis. Possible. Yes.
Oh, okay. When you say connector, do you mean the edge analytics?
Something like that. Yeah, it's
okay.
something like that. Yep.
So which
the
means,
only thing is, compared to your normal what the data I showed, the Excel or other database data, the IoT data is of different scale and different format. So the first thing is get it and then you transform into a right format. That's very important without losing the essence of the data.
Right. But are we going to lose a lot of latency in those cleaning up process and all, or can we avoid that latency problem?
Latency again is a good question. See, actually yesterday we were talking about this again. When we say real time, in the practicality, I would say it's a near real time, because
that's fine.
Yeah, we need some time to really clean up. We have to be, they said, the 60 to 80% of the time of my analytic journey, people are spending to clean and transform. So having that in mind, it can't be 100% real time, but it'll be near real time. But the latency can be improved, definitely. Like you said, edge analytics, that there are tools which actually, while collection itself it does the preliminary cleaning so that it saves some time for your total cleaning at the end.
Right. Since I come from manufacturing perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to minimize the latency in areas like manufacturing.
Correct.
But in supply chain also, latency becomes very, very important.
Yes.
Because by the time a supplier takes corrective and preventive action, we may lose a lot of rejections.
Correct.
So the supply chain in manufacturing is very analogical to the retail chain in the FMCG, where there are many actors are involved, many players are involved. So that is where the challenge comes. And of course, visualization.
Yeah, that's a good question, Mauli. But I mean, there is, I mean, to be honest, I haven't had a chance to work with any IoT data, but there are tools and expertise available in IoT data, because the whole format of IoT data is totally different. So normally, if I'm saying I'm a good data analytics person, I may not be good in IoT data. That's a different domain itself within data analytics. But there are tools, special tools and expertise available.
Well, coming to the audience question, Mr. Nayak, Rupa, if you can open up the audio. if not the video, Mr. Nayak can phrase his question himself.
Sir, I have enabled, sir. Participants can unmute as well as the audio as well as the video.
Just slightly extend the time. I get an alert
Sure,
saying
sir.
5 minutes left in the meeting.
Yeah, I'm just reading
No,
Mr.
no.
Nayak's question. Data sourcing mechanism. It's a good question, Mr. Nayak. See, there are a couple of things. I didn't cover the data sources. The data sources, there are internal and external data sources. Obviously, the internal data source is what you collect from your own company. Even that could be your customer data, your sales data, your HR data, and that could come from disparate systems. Whereas the external data, for example, in case of a retail industry, what are the retail industry's norm in growth? Or you want to have a third-party data, so who are the competitors, direct competitors for my type of product offering? How much is their sales, and all those data externally available. Some of them could be free, some of them is paid. So to answer the question, that sourcing either internal, external, but you may need both. At the same time, the third one is for some retail industry, there are some compliance requirements. How my company as a retail industry compliant with some of the regulations, some of the governance requirement, I need the external data to compare. So, and then only 10 to 12%. Yeah, and accuracy 8% to analysis. Yeah, like I said, retail industry to me is kind of a bit mature compared to other verticals. Retail and even finance is the first, followed by retail. For two reasons. One is the omni-channel, which we never saw about 5-6 years back, and the e-commerce driving the whole buying pattern, consuming pattern of the audience. And some of the bigger players, like you have Amazon, and in your case maybe a Flipkart or whoever it's in the field, like we have here Shopee, the local Lazada. So the things are all kind of demanding you to rise to the occasion to cater to the buying, consuming pattern of the people. So I mean, it's you need both internal and external, but more of internal data. That's where the data culture, which I mentioned about it, comes into effect. Unless each employee kind of feels, yeah, how important the data. I'm also part of the team, and I should be able to use the data, productively and make decisions, database decisions. It'll be a problem. Yes, yeah, and unfortunately, again, a lot of companies are not really focusing on data literacy. It may seem the word itself is, oh, it may be literacy. I'm literate. So they say data acumen. So we started using the names. Data acumen. This is one of the skills you need. You may see, yeah, I use Excel, but what's your data literacy knowledge? What is your data literacy rate? Kind of data type of data, the categorical data, numerical data. So from there, it's a bit of statistics. The only that really makes sense to, and then enables you to ask the right question. The fundamental layer of all the analytics is asking the right question. I'm not sure whether I answered Mr. Nayak's question, but okay. Thank you. Any other question? If you want more use cases, yeah, please go to www.tableau.com, and then there are use cases to specific industry. Particularly, there are quite a lot in retail. I just filtered out some of them, including one from India, but there are quite a lot. I would strongly recommend to have a look before even you decide. Similar way, there are use cases for Microsoft Power BI. And Power BI, again, the Power BI desktop is free. You can download and use it, create dashboard, create charts, no payments.
And Power BI is from which company?
Which Microsoft.
Tell me,
yeah.
You mentioned about visionary, the x-axis.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of big companies like IBM, etc.
Yeah.
On the right-hand quadrant.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a startup, so I was a little worried.
No, not startup. Visionary, I said in the analytics space is a startup. Like ThoughtSpot is a startup. Not anymore, but 2 years back. But IBM is not a startup. But in terms of these specific capabilities, analytics and BI, they are still a visionary. They haven't come out with a compelling product per se.
Whereas Zoho, etc., are more on the
moving. Yeah, they're moving. I won't be surprised next year. Every year they review, and then this chart will change every year. Every year you see some of the companies won't be around. Some of the new entrants will be there. That's how it is. Zoho is a new entrant.
couple of questions on the training side.
Yeah.
You mentioned about digital literacy.
Mm.
What kind of training programs that you can offer to Indian audience, both in fresh skilling from students' point of view, or from the let us say the industry point of view, upskilling?
Yeah, good question. For academic, for students, it'll be they could have covered something on directly, indirectly on the data literacy, because again, digital literacy, the starting point is a data literacy, because that's a foundation piece for anything, in digital transformation or data transformation, whatever you call, or even business transformation. Data is the core building block. So we start from data literacy, and then we branch out. I'm going to only for data analytics. You may not necessarily want to learn about digital literacy at this point in time. So I want to know more about data analytics. So we'll take the track. But for digital literacy, data literacy, and then on top, we talk about what do you mean by digital literacy? Where do I start? What are the components? What should be aware of? And then again, we cover about the strategy part of it, because every company should have a strategy and culture for any such products to be successful. You saw about 87% of the companies are not really successful, 78 to recall. That is because they don't have a well-defined strategy, data strategy, not the company strategy. So you need to have a data steward to drive this.
Your organization is offering training programs?
At the moment, we offer advisory and consulting for SMEs in Singapore at the moment. We are again a startup, just completed 1 year. And one of our agenda is also to provide our help and assistance to non-profit organization, to which we are talking about, some of them discussing about the local. To answer the question, not as a standalone training company, but if our prospects customers are engaging us for advisory consulting as part of that service, we do awareness and enablement workshops. So as part of the training.
So in your career, you found more of OEMs implementing all this, or there are some smaller companies also implementing?
Actually, there are different versions. If you will take about this. So the enterprises, the big companies, they have their own team of data analyst or digital transformation team, and they do self-implementation, where minimal help from vendors. So the vendor will provide you the tool and if necessary training, but they run with the project. These are the big enterprises. They also go with the enterprise type of product purchase. On the SME side, most of them on the SMEs, the small industries, they depend on third-party vendors to do the project, the system integrators or the implementers to do the project, because their core business is not analytics, and they may not have the expertise or resources to do that.
So how to make it affordable for, let's say, a 100 crore company or a 50 crore company, which is not a Tata or a Toyota?
Yeah.
And do this kind of a transformation?
Good question, Mauli. I mean, that is where, I mean, of course, our coverage is only Singapore at the moment because of the size, but there are companies which are really keeping the cost of implementation in mind, and they do it in a phased manner. But one thing is, I don't go for a big bang. I start a very small project. That is why personally what we recommend, whether you do data transformation or digital transformation, start with a data analytics, a simple project. Because one is you don't need a bigger resource and funding. Second, you have a tangible outcome which you can show to the stakeholders or the investments approvers to show, look, we did this project, this is the outcome, this is the benefit or ROI we got. So that's a recommendation in order to start spending small, but also assess the risks and also define the ROI. But there are minimum costs involved.
Do you have a ROI model for this kind of projects?
At the moment, no, but we can. But again, it's ROI model is again, it's industry specific, Mauli.
Let's say retail sector.
Retail, there are. I don't have. We don't have as a company, but there are ROI data available, reports available from some of the big fives and consulting companies. We can, but we can evaluate and do it. as part of our consulting advisory, because some of the small, like we talk about here in
Your
Singapore,
experience in
SME.
Singapore, what kind of payback they are talking in now in the database decision making investments?
Probably I have my partner as well. Is it? Vinod, do you want to add here? I do have my partner. So
Yeah, Vinod sir.
Hi. Hi.
Or the companies, you can come on the audio video, sir. Yeah. Yes,
Oh, yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Vinod. Nice to see you also.
Yeah, thank you.
Question is, what is the payback period in Singapore experience? While you were in career as well as last 1 year of your consulting in the small and medium enterprise.
Right now in Singapore we have engaged very like small SMEs, even in the lower end of the SMEs for the time being, because the rest of them I think we are still in the negotiation phase of some of the larger engagements which are going to happen in I think some in January, February time frame actually. So based on the early
what are the promises what are the promise that you are giving them? Let us put it that way.
I think I think we haven't given any such promise. We always our approach is mainly to first look at do an assessment of their environment, do a workshop and understand more on each of those customer requirements, right? So because every organization will have some or other different lookouts and focus areas. So our methodology is mainly our assessment is based on the McKinsey 7S model. Actually, that's the basis that we are going with in terms of the assessment.
The reason I'm asking this question, some of the people still on the call now, 21 people. The famous question in India is it affordable? So I asked you a question in different ways. ROI or payback, whichever way you look at it.
Let me add it here actually. See, the ROI is a very, very contextual, because as a retail company, what is my number one pain point? Without knowing, I can't generalize. Maybe I'm losing my customers, right? So that could be a pain point. So we identify and then we assess the data maturity level and then tell them, okay, maybe you start implementing the solution, data analytics solution, to understand the reasons and why your customers are leaving, and then apply that to predict the percentage of customers likely to leave. You're going to save about 10% of your customer base from leaving you, for example. So that is one kind of ROI. May not be directly dollar and cent, but retaining customer itself is a biggest advantage. On the other hand, if you're saying, oh, suddenly my sales is dropping down, I do have a customer, same number of customers, they don't buy anymore. So what is that lacking? Is it my marketing coverage, my sales coverage, or I'm not really doing an omni-channel sales like other retailers, my competitors do? So that again, ROI will be different. So I mean, it's kind of, I can't give you a specific figure.
Opportunity loss also need to be measured in monetary terms.
Correct.
Either the lost customer or market share loss, whatever it is.
So absolutely.
The point is, in all these cases, you are saying it is case-to-case basis evaluation, assessment. Whether it is small, medium, or large, but you are saying in Singapore they are willing to pay. The small and medium enterprises are willing to pay.
But one reason I want to add, Mauli, here is the government is really funding a lot of these initiatives. Meaning, if they are able to convince the government saying, by doing this digital transformation project or data analytics project, I'm going to save so much. I'm going to have employment for so many people. I'm going to increase my revenue. So you have a compelling reason. The government funds about up to 70% of your expenses of such projects.
Great.
So that is a great driving factor. Good question.
I hope that Singapore government model of incentivization, I will collect it from you offline. And because we interact very closely, BCIC closely interacts with Karnataka government. So we can supply such a model. And Karnataka government is very much willing to promote and incentivize these kind of digital transformation projects. Indian government has already done it, but it's a drop in the ocean kind of incentivization. It's already a scheme is available. Most people have not taken it, or because you can't buy even one computer with that money. So because the starting point is you need to computerize the organization before you talk about cloud, etc. Okay, I think it's now the hot stuff which I mentioned. And 1:10, we have 1 minute. If Dr. Devarajan is still there to offer the vote of thanks, or else let me offer it on my own behalf and behalf of Bangalore Chamber of Commerce.
Sure.
Yes, I forgot to mention Mr. Swaminathan has an extensive experience. Swaminathan, you are working in HCL, correct?
Sorry?
Or IBM? HCL or IBM?
No,
right?
I was in EMC Dell.
EMC Dell. And how about Mr. Vinod?
Yeah, so we both worked in the similar.
Close colleagues, long time friends.
About 20 years.
Very good, very good. Thank you, sir. And coming at this time of Monday, Singapore, very busy day for you. Offering this 2-hour session is a very valuable for us. And we will, as Devarajan sir mentioned, we will take it further. How do you drill down deep?
Yep.
And some of the colleges in Bangalore also are very much willing to understand.
Yep.
And so there is an academic interaction, there is a business interaction with the industry.
Yep.
And one industrial company has just now written to us. So I think probably it's called, one message has come and Rupa will connect you. So the main point is, how do we create more fishermen in India rather than catch the fish? So we want people like you to come and training the trainer or creating more mentors in industry, or what we call as digital champions. If you can curate digital champion programs, and I'm aware that you already a digital champion program you are running with C4I4 in Pune.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Similarly, let us roll out a digital championship program. I'll talk to the office bearers of BCIC, and then we will see how to create more fishermen, because you can't fly down to India unless the project is huge, which you can't now.
Agree.
Great. So on that note, I learned a little bit today, and I hope all the audience today have learned. And a YouTube video will be available, which will be in a couple of days, will be up and running in the internet also, so people can watch it. We will forward to you. And Rupa, thank you so much for organizing this program. Very patiently, everybody listening. And the 6-step process is very interesting. Generative AI is sitting on top. And particularly with the right questions, generative AI with the right questions. And I love the question, open-ended questions that you put 6 questions. The 7th question I would like to add to that is how. So then I think the loop is complete. And thank you so much, all of you. Rupa, you want to ask for a photograph session when everybody can open the video?
Yes, sir, we can have it, sir.
Normal celebration we have at the end of each session is all those participants who still at the end of the session have the opportunity to come on a photography session.
Sure. Actually, Vinod has got a 4 o'clock meeting. That's why he's dialing from elsewhere. He stays nearer to the city side.
So
probably looks like a mall.
I think he is very close to a retail company. So I wish him all the best to get the order. I think Rupa has taken the photo. Okay. No more people are opened up. So maybe in her screen, she is able to see more.
Okay. Thanks, Rupa.
I think more are coming.
Thank you very much.
Subhash Lode from Pegasus. Very good, sir. And more people are still on the call. Vijay Kumar Nandani.
From our side, thanks very much for Bangalore Chamber of Industry Commerce, Mauli and Mr. Dr. Devarajan and Rupa for arranging it. And like I said, it's a good questions. I learn a lot whenever I conduct each session as part of my learning. Thanks for the opportunity. Look forward to more association and sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Vijay Kumar Nandani, you want to say a vote of thanks?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the very insightful.
Thank you.
I'm from Jetro, sir.
All right.
Oh, Vijay Kumar Nandani is from Japan External Trade and Research Organization, Jetro. Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, I salute the people from Singapore overseas, and thank you all, audience.
Thank you.
We will spread it.
traditional
Krupa,
way.
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We look
Yeah.
forward to have
Bye-bye.
many more sessions. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
The Indians will go for lunch and the Singaporeans will go for coffee.
Yes.
Bye-bye.